Hello YouTube, it's your girl Crystal coming to you from Bald Black Girls Chronicles. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey, hey. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're talking about hair loss, and I want to just thank the YouTube watcher, viewer that asked me questions about my journey with being bald, and so I told her that I would do a video answering her questions because they were really good questions, and if she had them, then I'm sure that other people had these questions. She shared with me, she says, I get so emotional some days seeing this bald spot in the front of my head. She says, I'm not being vain, but it makes me tear up to think of losing my hair. How do you deal with things emotionally? And I haven't done a video in a while about my journey of being bald, but when I talk to people who are having difficulties, it brings me to remembrance of the struggle with my own hair loss. Because I didn't just wake up, bam, I'm like, oh, I'm losing hair, so what? I'm gonna shave it off. That's not the way it took place. It was it was a struggle. I would say that. You know, I talked about the fact that the physical pain that I experienced from losing my hair towards the end of things, and just the products that I used that caused irritation and all of that. But I did not think to talk about the struggles emotionally. And so that's kind of what this video is talking about. The best that I can describe it, and I was thinking about this after her and I did some talking, and I was trying to say, how do I want to approach this conversation? So what I came up with is, I came up with the 7 stages of grief, right? With the hair loss. So if you're not familiar with the 7 stages of grief, here's a Cliff Note version of it. Hey YouTube, I gave us 7 whole stages of grief. So they say that there's really only 5, and that is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. The 7 stages of grief, and this is in the order. The first is shock and denial, right? This is a state of disbelief and numb feelings, right? So when I first started losing my hair, I was, you know, it's like, is my hair thinning right there? No, it's not. It's not a big deal, you know. Probably just my part, you know. I'm going to just wear my hair differently. That's my denial part, right? So I'm like, it's not a big deal. And then you move into, and these didn't happen all like in, you know, I stayed in that shock and denial phase for a long time. You know, I would say I stayed in it for several years. I would say I stayed in that because when I first noticed, it was just a smaller. And then I was like, wait, am I losing it right here too? Is that balling right there? Maybe that's not. Maybe I'm, you know. And then I said, I think I'm thinning right there. I say, my friends, they look at, girl, that's just your part, you know, whatever the case may be. And so I spent a lot of time in that denial stage. I did that for years. The pain and the grief. Then you move into what they call the pain and the grief stage. Now, Gil, let's talk about that. I think I kind of smoothed over that. That's right after the shock and denial. You feel guilty. Why do we feel guilty about the fact that we're losing our hair? Because we're thinking, oh, I should have never did that perm, or I should have never added that color, or I should have, I shouldn't have. I mean, we do all of those things, those blame games or whatever. But many a time, you see other people that dye their hair and they're not bald, or they do a perm and they're not bald. I mean, my hair loss is what they call an autoimmune disease. It just is. And I already knew that 9 times out of 10, I wasn't going to have no hair because I got a family full of people who bald. So it's like, it'd be a miracle if I walked, you know, if I died with a head full of hair, considering that everybody else in my family ain't got none. So But we do feel a level of guilt. I never really thought about that, but I don't know. I mean, for any of you that are balding, did you feel guilty? Did you feel like, I shouldn't have put that, I should have used that part, I shouldn't have used that chemical, I shouldn't have wore that weave, I shouldn't have did this, I shouldn't have did that, and then you feel guilty, like, now this is your punishment. I don't know. But it's a stage of grief, and then you have that anger and bargaining. You definitely have that anger. So I'm upset. You know, I don't know what kind of bargaining I did. I can't think about, I don't know that I did a lot of bargaining. Maybe to myself, like, oh, well, if I do this, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to do this every day, or I'm going to treat it like this every day, or, you know, I'm bargaining with myself. You know what I mean? But I was definitely upset about it. I'm like, look, all these other people got hair, why I ain't got no hair? You know, why am I having these problems if people got nice little hairdos or whatever? And then you go into depression. Now, by the time I hit depression, I had cut all of my locks off by this time. Because I was like, I'm just going to cut it off and I'm just going to wear it natural. Well, trying to wear it natural, in order to get my natural coil in, I had to use product. Well, the product was causing problems, and my hair was so, it was dying so in those troubled areas, and that it was bone straight. Now, I hadn't had a perm in years, and it was bone straight. That's how I knew it was just dead. There was no natural coil at all whatsoever. And so that's where the tears and the anger came in. And that was one of the things that my viewer said, is that, you know, she gets so upset to see it that oftentimes she's in tears. And I said, I wish I could tell you I didn't cry over it. And, you know, the fact that I was losing my hair, I did. Many a days, you know, where I'm trying to, you know, cover it up, comb it over. By this time I cut it off and I'm wearing a natural, and my hairdo was cute too. I'm just saying. I'll have to show you pictures. But you know, I had a nice little mohawk here, but now I'm trying to cover it up here. Hair is just dead all around here, right? So I'm trying to, you know, get this hair to cover it up here, and then I'm self-conscious, like, can people see that? So then I'm always touching it, trying to make sure it's covered or whatever. Okay, it was just, and it was, you know, I get up and wash my hair and try to do something with it, and it was a mess, and I would just be in tears, just in tears. Then they call what they call the upward turn. This is where you like, I'm losing my hair. That's it. That's all. You know, what am I going to do about it? What's my decision? Am I going to wear weave? Am I going to wear wigs? Am I going to cut it off? Well, a sister knew she wasn't doing the weave or the wigs because she lazy, right? Those things require work. And this sister right here, yeah, about that. No, I ain't doing it, right? So the next step was to cut it off. And luckily for myself, it was one other young lady that was in a friend pool that I hung out with. At the time, I was running a lot, so it was a part of a group called Black Girls Run, and she was a part of that group, and she had her hair shaved off. And you talking about fly. Oh gosh, beautiful and unapologetically bald. I never talked to her about her baldness. I never talked to her about her, you know, why she was bald or anything like that. I never asked any, what I thought at the time would be intrusive questions or whatever. I never did that, but I admired her from a distance. And I just admired her confidence, where she's like, this baldness don't wear me, I wear it, right? And that gave me that little extra boost to say, girl, cut it off. You still be fly, you still cute, whatnot. Even if I wasn't cute, too bad, it's gone now, right? But that's what I had to tell myself, because, well, you know, somebody say you fake it until you make it. Well, I done faked it. I was like, too bad, I'm wearing it's bald now. It's getting ready to be bald. And that's where you move into what you call reconstruction and working through it. And that's what I did. Reconstructing who I was, and I worked through it. And it was a phase, because, you know, and then I had to get the big earrings, and I had to look all nice. When girl wouldn't walk out the house without lipstick on. I didn't wear a lot of makeup, but I definitely had on some eyeliner, some what do you call that over the eye? Some whatever that is, eyeshadow. See, I don't wear it as much anymore, but I used to. When I first went bald, I did, because it made it cute. I wish I had did eyelashes, girl, because I see some ladies with the eyelashes. I'm like, I need to learn how to do eyelashes. But we need to go back to the other thing about, let's be clear, a sister's lazy. Yeah, I don't do nothing that's going to require work. And eyelashes would require work. So that's why I had to... but so you go to that, and then acceptance and hope. And, you know, I don't know if hope is but acceptance was. And that's where I live. I live in a world of acceptance. And that's it. That's all. Now, is there times that I waver? Absolutely. I got a closet. Let's talk about my personality now. You know how I do. I don't go big or go home, right? Somebody told me about wigs or whatnot, and they was like, oh, I think you do really good with a lace front wig, blah, 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 blah. Girl, I must have bought about 4 or 5 wigs. Let me tell you how many I done worn. 0. They still in the package. I need to sell them, because the sister, I would love to do that, but it requires work. I need to find maybe a beautician or somebody who would do those wigs for me. But I'm like, I need the kind of wig where I pull it off the little lady head and then slap it on my head, and then I break it out like this, and then I go. That's the kind of wig I need. But going back to this here, so the 7 stages of grief with the loss of my hair. I did the shock and denial. That's probably the stage I was in the longest before I hit the final stage, which was acceptance, which is where I am now. And I call myself unapologetically bald. I am. If somebody got a problem with the fact that I ain't got no hair, that's their problem. And if you don't love me or like me because I have no hair, then you got something wrong with you. Let's start there. Number 2, yeah, not my problem. It's still not my problem. I got enough to deal with the fact that I don't have no hair. You know, I wish I had the choice. I don't. I'm bald, and I'm thinning, and it ain't very cute when I got hair all around here and then no hair up here. Ain't nothing cute about that. So I cut it off. So I would say shock and denial. Then you have your pain and guilt. And then that anger, bargaining, and depression was all mixed together, along with that guilt. I think the pain and guilt, the anger and bargaining, and the depression all was together. So they were, during that phase, I went from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And it jumped around. And then when you move to that upward turn where you're like, it looks like I'm losing my hair. So let me go back. Let me make sure I answer my viewer's question here. She feels like she's being vain. She's not. And that's part of the grief, right? Now you're feeling guilty because you're sad about your hair loss. No, it's a real thing. And you're not vain because you feel a certain way about you losing your hair, especially as a Black African-American woman. I mean, hair in our community is a thing. It's huge. I mean, it's a big deal. And it has been for a long time. But she voiced her concern about, you know, feeling vain because she has all of these emotions about that. And it is not vain that you're feel a certain kind of way that you're losing your hair. It is not. It's a real grief. And then she asked specifically, how did I deal with it? You know, I felt what I felt. I gave myself time to deal with that grief, and then I had to move on. You know what I mean? So I would say give yourself the green light to feel what you feel. Don't let yourself or anyone else make you feel like you're being irrational, or it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. If it's a big deal to you, it's a big deal. And allow yourself to feel that and feel that grief. My answer is make a plan, though, because we can't sit there, right? I mean, because that stunts our happiness. So what's the plan? Feel your grief. Give yourself how much time you need to grieve that. And keep in mind that it's going to be a roller coaster of grief. So I would grieve, and then when I first decided to cut my hair off, I was all excited, all happy. The first week or so, I mean, I think I wore my mohawk I might have wore it almost a full summer. Wait, in the Midwest, so you know that was only 2 months. And then I had to cut it all off. But, you know, then I went back before I cut it all off. I was in that grief and sadness and all of that, bargaining, all of that again. So give yourself the green light to feel what you feel. Because it's real. It's not fake. It's real. And love on yourself. Do something good for yourself. Do something special for yourself. Remind yourself. I told her that at the time my theme song was I Am Not My Hair by India.Arie. Anybody heard it? You don't know who she is? Anyway, India.Arie said I am not my hair. And I love that song because we are not. Our hair does not define who we are. I'm not the skin I'm in either, you know. And so once we come to terms with that, then we can move forward. So get your theme song, and every time you're feeling kind of poo-pooed about it, go on and put your theme song on and rock it out to yourself. And fake it until you make it, you know. Go out and do something special for yourself. Put on your makeup, put on your hair, add your nice little hat, nice little accessory, whatever the case may be. And remind yourself that you're awesome with or without hair. You're awesome with or without that bald spot. I appreciate the question that Jessica posed to me about being bald. I really do. So thank you so much for trusting me to respond to you. Anybody else have any questions or concerns about being bald? Feel free to put it in the comment section. When it comes to my baldness, I'm an open book. It does not, because like I said, I'm unapologetically bald. It does not bother me, not one bit, to answer these questions. So YouTube, if you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Hitting that like button if you appreciate this video, and if you know anybody else who's struggling from hair loss, share this video with them. You know, it's amazing, and I'm really happy that I'm able to hopefully encourage somebody. You know, even if you choose not to go bald, just be comfortable in what your choice is. Whatever it is, but you're not your hair. That's just an extension of who you are. All right, YouTube. Until next time. Bye now. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.